Businesses in this state desperately need help to get through the pandemic, which has forced so many to close. King 5's Amy Marino talked to small business owners who are frustrated and they are worried as they try to get government help, but feel like they're just being shut out.
The closed-up storefronts are not as shocking as they used to be. Windows darkened brown instead of open for customers. But for every shutdown business, there are lives that have been turned upside down.
So we prepared just to be closed for a couple weeks.
Small business owners like Jamie O'Neill trying to figure out how they will pay the bills, put food on the table, how to pay the rent on a hair salon that's not allowed to open.
So I applied for probably 6 different grants that were being put out by either Amazon in the vicinity, businesses that were affected in the vicinity, or the EIDL, the PPP, the SBA.
Each time it's a rejection or no response. The state's revamped unemployment system was another dead end.
You're seeing that wheel that spins that looks like a rainbow. And so it's just one more day that we as small business owners or independent contractors are not receiving economic relief.
With no income since mid-March, she took her frustrations to Instagram.
Being a small business owner and a law-abiding citizen and a taxpayer means nothing.
O'Neill got more than 100 messages from other small business owners with the same story.
Which tells me there's a huge injustice happening in the small business community.
McKenna Phillips runs the bath and body line Shepherd Moon Concoctions. She's also applied for grants and loans.
In the beginning of the process, I would feel discouraged, and then I would see this application and I would fill it out, and then start feeling hopeful, only to find out that you don't get it.
Phillips says her best support has come from the community and local stores like PCC, which stock her items.
One of the beautiful things that is coming out of this is reaching out to other small businesses.
The federal government might add more money to its loan program, but both business owners saying after hearing about bigger companies getting help, they're losing faith that they will ever see a dime.
And hopefully the bigger companies pass along what they have to keep us alive, to keep this country what it should be.
Amy Marino, King 5 News.
So many businesses are hurting right now. And meanwhile, people have been complaining about the state's unemployment website where they can apply for assistance they need. They say the site has been just too slow. The state's employment website was offline for most of the day yesterday to prepare for the wave of new applications. The Employment Security Department released this statement today. It reads, quote, "Since the beginning of the crisis, we have averaged 1.2 million page views on our site. Right now, we are seeing up to 500,000 per hour since Saturday evening. Our teams have been triaging and addressing issues as they arise." Despite the slowdown, the state says it has hired hundreds of people to handle this slew of new unemployment requests. Just this past week, there were 585,000 claims.
The tsunami of new applications. We anticipate that we are going to have hundreds of thousands of Washingtonians be able to access these benefits.
More people are now considered eligible for unemployment assistance. A bit of good news here. So independent contractors, gig workers, and some part-time workers, you were previously denied state benefits, but now you can apply for federal unemployment assistance benefits. And if you'd like more information or if you have any questions about this whole process, text the word unemployment to 206-448-4545, and we'll send you a link to the resources on our website. Well, tomorrow, Boeing will restart airplane production after halting it a few weeks ago. In the coming days, 27,000 employees will return in phases to their Everett and Renton facilities. A spokesperson told us, quote, "At all of its sites, the company has taken extra precautions and has instituted comprehensive procedures to keep people safe and fight the spread of COVID-19. The health and safety of our employees, their families, and communities is our shared priority." Demonstrators went to Olympia today to speak out against the stay-at-home order put in place to slow the spread of coronavirus. We spoke to an electrician from Moses Lake who says he just wants to go back to work.
Try to find a way so that it's safe for some of these small businesses to start again. By wearing the mask, give them ways to protect their workers so that they can start up again. Just one of the messages from the hundreds of people that showed up at the state capitol today.
Now here's a look at the protest from Sky King. Our Chris Daniels reports now from Olympia.
Good evening. This rally was in direct defiance of the governor's order as well as public health officials across the state. We did see some people taking precautions because they said this was the only way they felt they could get their message across. In this spring like no other, today politics pollinated Olympia with blooming frustration on the Capitol campus.
My wife needs some cancer treatment, specifically a biopsy. She's been waiting for almost 2 months now. We can't get into a doctor for cancer.
Wade Hager drove here from Vancouver.
I'm talking to Governor Inslee, if you're listening. If your wife had this, she'd get a test.
His personal protest, part of a much larger one, which followed demonstrations across the country urging an end to stay-home policies and fueled by presidential tweets to, quote, liberate.
And it is dangerous because it can inspire people to ignore things that actually can save their lives. And
Washington Governor Jay Inslee today on ABC's This Week criticized the actions.
It says reevaluate and reopen.
But a masked Marlene Brucker of Gig Harbor stood here to say she just wants a plan from the governor.
For what is the criteria for how we're reopening?
This rally was short on speeches, yet full of people looking to unseat Inslee this fall.
Says we don't trust Inslee or his fake facts. Hyman, him we trust. How bright are we?
Says Don Sly of Seattle.
There are people out there right now, unprotected. And it doesn't occur to them that there's a reality which may not be friendly to them.
The reality is this crisis and the stay-at-home order won't change overnight. The frustration over the balance between life and liberty is growing. As it stands right now, that stay-at-home order will remain in effect through at least May the 4th. Reporting in Olympia, I'm Chris Daniels, King 5 News.
Lots of emotions and opinions on display today. And in response to today's demonstration, Governor Inslee issued a statement. He said these are difficult times and that he understands the urgency of the crisis. He went on to say, quote, I support free speech, but crowd counts or speeches won't determine our course. This isn't about politics. It can only be about doing what is best for the health of all Washingtonians. Now, governors, both Democrats and Republicans, say there needs to be greater testing capacity before states can even consider reopening. Just listen to Virginia and Maryland's governors.
Fighting a biological war. We've been asked, by the way, as governors, to fight that war without the supplies we need.
Every governor in America has been pushing and fighting and clawing to get more tests.
Vice President Mike Pence does claim that there is a sufficient capacity of testing for states to begin the process of reopening the economy. But scientists insist there just aren't enough tests yet. But the COVID tracking project says 150,000 diagnostic tests currently happen in this country every day. Now, that may seem like a large number, but Harvard researchers say that number actually needs to triple to safely reopen the economy.
Been kind of plateaued at that for about 2-3 weeks. It's mainly because we've just had no federal leadership on this issue. It's crazy that we have shut our economy down because we don't have enough nasal swabs.
Trump is addressing that swab issue. Today, he announced that he will use the Defense Production Act to produce swabs for testing. And testing is crucial as public health officials try to get a handle on just how many people are infected with the coronavirus. So far, 750,000 Americans have tested positive for this virus, and the death toll keeps climbing. NBC reports there are more than 40,000 coronavirus deaths nationwide. Here in our state, 634 Washingtonians have died from this virus. That is 10 more deaths than yesterday. There are more than 11,700 coronavirus cases in the state, and 138,000 people have been tested for the coronavirus in Washington. More than 9 out of 10 tested negative. A new NBC Wall Street Journal poll finds that a majority of Americans are actually more worried about coronavirus than they are the economy. The poll says that nearly 58% said they are concerned that moving too soon to loosen restrictions will cause the virus to spread. 32% were more concerned about taking too long to ease restrictions and its impact on jobs and the economy.